Hello and welcome to another video review. This is Rainbow Six 3 Athena Sword for PC and Mac. This is the first expansion pack to Rainbow Six 3 Raven Shield. It was released in March of 2004 for PC and then later in November for Mac. And this version actually did not make it to the consoles. That said, it is a straight up expansion pack. They didn't really change any of the fundamentals of the game. So I'm not really going to talk about the graphics or anything like that. Pretty much what they did was add new content that fits in well with the old. The only real thing I noticed about this game graphically and sound-wise, apart from it being pretty fitting with the previous stuff, there are some weird glitches with the textures on the new stuff. And it's entirely on the arms. I don't know why, but it's there, and you'll probably notice it in this video, but it's just something odd I noticed, and I'm not really sure why it's there, but that's really the only big difference as far as the visuals and everything go. They just added in some new stuff that fits in well with the old stuff. So what about the story and the gameplay? Well, the story takes place 2 years after the events of the original Rainbow Six 3 Raven Shield, and what ends up happening here is that the cell you were fighting in the previous game is still around, and they're scattered and weaker than they were, but they're still trying to execute nefarious plots, and of course you're going in as Team Rainbow to annihilate them. That's pretty much it. There's not much to say as far as the storyline goes. And once again, it's pretty obvious that the story isn't the focus of this game. Instead, it's still on the gameplay, which presents a few problems for this particular expansion pack. You see, the expansion pack adds in some new content. The campaign, of course, which is 8 missions, 5 multiplayer maps, 3 multiplayer modes, and 7 weapons. That's it. It adds nothing else. It does not change any of the gameplay mechanics. It only adds to what we already had. Now that's not necessarily a bad thing. The problem is that they released this and marketed it as a full-on expansion pack. And so what we ended up getting was effectively a DLC, which should have been at a much lower price point, but wasn't. Now if you got the gold edition of the game, this is not a problem. But if you got the original game, and you were looking forward to the expansion pack, and then the expansion pack came out, it was very, very disappointing. Now, don't get me wrong, Athena Sword is not bad. Yes, it has a lot of bugs in it. Yes, it doesn't really add all that much. It does give you some classic maps to play with that were in the original Rainbow Six, actually. Or Rogue Spear as well. But that's kind of it. It doesn't really do anything significant to add to the formula that we got in Raven Shield. It doesn't really fix any of the problems that Raven Shield had. It just adds in some new content on top of that. And so, if you look at it as a DLC, it's not bad. But if you look at it as a full-on expansion pack, which is what they wanted you to look at it as, then you're running into problems. Because then, the campaign isn't really all that great. I mean, it's okay. It's just not particularly great. The new modes and everything really don't add all that much to the game. The new equipment isn't really all that useful compared to the rest of the stuff. I mean, you get the G3K4 in this one, and it's effectively the same as just the G3A3. So, it's just kind of some overlap. And there's some weird glitches, like you'll notice with the SM4 CQB. It's held at the wrong angle, so it just looks odd. It's just some weird glitches here and there. It's nothing particularly game-breaking or anything like that. It's just things you notice, and it just kind of puts you off a bit. But that said, again, Athena Sword is not a bad expansion. It's just a very weak one. And don't take this as a judgment on the game itself, say Raven Shield. Raven Shield is fantastic, and it's good that this particular expansion pack adds on some new content, some things to make the game actually a bit less samey, I guess is the best way to say it. It adds in some stuff that we can run around and, ooh, we got new stuff to play with. Yay! But this expansion in itself is very underwhelming. And that's why I give it a 2.5 out of 5. Thanks for watching.